John was a young man who was raised by a single father. He was trained to always strive to succeed at every time. He was trained by his father to be strong and be a man at every time. When John went into the university, towards the end of his first year, he met a young girl there called Victoria. Now, Victoria was a young girl raised by a single mother. Her mother had instilled survival instincts into her to always make use of every opportunity to succeed. The two of them fell in love, John and Victoria. Before we go on, please click on the subscribe button for more stories and also turn on the notification. Thank you. John saw Victoria as his sister, as his wife, as his mother, as his lover, because he lacked all these things. Victoria showed John love. In their second year, Victoria's mother could not raise enough money for the school fees. John, being a man, stepped in. How did he step in? He sacrificed his own school fees and gave it to Victoria to pay for her school fees. When John's father heard this, he was angry and refused giving John another money. John dropped out because of this. But he was determined to make sure that the love of his life continues and succeeds. He went, got a bus from someone, and started driving as a Danfo driver. They were madly in love. John made sure Victoria lacked nothing. He made sure Victoria's school fees were paid on time. Few years later, to the glory of God, Victoria graduated. John was happy. When Victoria was preparing for her youth service, John made sure she lacked nothing. She went for her youth service. After a while, she had a job there. And one day, they were always communicating. Victoria came back. But John was not aware that she was coming back. He heard from someone that, Victoria, your love is back. John was excited. By this time, John had 2 buses on the road. He was also successful. So he rushed to Victoria's house. On getting there, he saw a car outside. He was very happy. Victoria, my love, has bought a car. Though he was surprised because he thought she would have told him first. But John didn't know that Victoria had other plans. On getting there, he saw Victoria came out of the house, but was followed by a strange fellow whose name he later realized was Felix. John asked her, "My love, welcome." He wanted to hug her. She pushed him off and introduced Felix as his fiancé. John was startled and asked her, "Who am I?" Victoria told him, "You are my destiny helper." John said, "Victoria, how could you do this to me after all we've been through?" Victoria replied him, "I was in love with you then, but not now. You are not on my level. Everything you did for me, I never forced you. You did it out of your own goodwill. God used you to fulfill my destiny." John asked her, "How could you do this to me? You made me believe you were my future partner." Victoria said, "I never promised you marriage. I never urged you, begged you, or forced you to help me. You did that out of your own goodwill and love. Now, John realized his position and went back sad. Now, in this story, who do you blame? Do you blame John's father for not forgiving his son's mistake and continuing to pay his school fees? Do you blame Victoria's mother for instilling survival instinct on the daughter to always use every opportunity she has to succeed? Do you blame John for being foolish and not being wise enough to invest on himself first? Or do you blame Victoria for being wicked and using John as a stepping stone to achieve her goals in life? Or do you blame Felix for trying to reap where he did not sow? Who do you blame?